Please welcome Gloria Steinem.
Well, obviously I'm not Dusty, but I think maybe we have a photograph of me and Dusty coming up somewhere. She came with her wife this morning, but she wasn't feeling well, so she can't be with us. But she is with us in spirit and photographs, and because she's not here, I get to tell you how important she is, okay? Because I think that flight attendants, as we now say instead of stewardesses, are probably the single most important group when it comes to telling the story of women's employment in this women's movement, because they were an all-female group in a very, very male environment. And I came to know how important they were to me because ever since I started wandering around on the road in 69 or 70 or something, they were my flying girlfriends. They looked after me, right? And I listened to them and all of their labor problems. So I just want to say that I just want to take us through the history a little bit. Because the first stewardesses were registered nurses hired to make passengers feel safe at a time when flying was new and air sickness was frequent and passengers were fearful. Some pilots so resented this female invasion of their macho airspace that they quit. You can't make this up, okay? Once male business travelers became the airline's bread and butter, everything changed. Stewardesses were hired as decorative waitresses with geisha-like instructions. There were executive flights for men only, complete with steaks, brandy, and cigars lit by the stewardesses. Though they still had to know first aid, evacuation procedures for as many as 75 kinds of planes, underwater rescue, emergency signaling, hijacking precautions, and other skills they had to go to school for 6 weeks to learn. Nonetheless, their appearance was prescribed down to age, height, weight, which was governed by regular weigh-ins, hairstyle, makeup, including one single shade of lipstick, skirt length, and other physical requirements that excluded such things as a broad nose, one of the many racist reasons why stewardesses were overwhelmingly white. There were almost no black stewardesses. And actually, I once met one who had been put off the plane by a pilot who saw her reading an Eldridge Cleaver book. I mean, I'm just saying, okay. They had to be single as well as young, and they were fired if they married or aged out over 30 or so. Altogether, the goal of airline executives seemed to be to hire smart and ornamental young women, to use them as advertising and come-ons, to work them hard, to age them out soon. Flight schedules were so merciless that on some airlines, the average stewardess lasted only 18 months. As one United executive said, "If a flight attendant was still on the job after 3 years, I'd know we were getting the wrong kind of girl because she's not getting married." And in fact, when the head of an airline had to testify in Congress about some of this stuff and explained that, you know, flight attendants had to be explained what I just said. And Congresswoman Martha Griffiths, bless her heart, famously asked, "Sir, are you running an airline or a whorehouse?" I mean, sorry for the term whorehouse, but anyway, good for Martha Griffiths, right? right. So when I was wandering around on the road, they were so kind to me. You know, they would take the arms out of the 3 across seats so I could lie down. They would sneak me meals from first class, you know. It truly was having, you know, like having a flying movement. And that's why I met Dusty Rhodes, because she was part of Stewardesses for Women's Rights, and we met in 1973. She really made a huge, huge difference. And so many flight attendants made a huge, huge difference. And I began to realize something was happening when they had to wear buttons. I think it was United, "I'm Linda, fly me." And that went on for a couple of years. And one day I got on an airline and I saw a woman with a button that said, "I'm Sharon, fly yourself." So I definitely knew that something was changing. And that is so much thanks to Dusty, who was and is a pioneer organizer in a field of women's employment that symbolized everything that we know that is wrong, right? And that is still wrong. They're still fighting the unions of flight attendants. There's still all kinds of job problems. So I hope that the next time we get on an airline of any kind, and now there are male flight attendants, which would have been anathema. As always, if you create more justice for one group, you create more justice altogether, right? So now there are male flight attendants. But it is a whole area of employment that kind of replicates all the problems that we have been talking about. So I don't know, I mean, I'm sure that Dusty's going to be okay. She just was having breathing problems. She and her wife drove here. It's somewhat ironic that at this moment in time she can't fly because of breathing problems. I should think that would be such a relief, you know, that she can't fly. But they drove here and we're here this morning. We hope and believe that she's going to be just fine. So we thought we would make a little film of Get Well, Dusty.
Yes.
Just to make sure.
Cue Dylan. Okay, so we want to send this to Dusty, and we're going to say, since you're such an amazing audience, we're going to say, "Get better soon, Dusty." Practice. Get better soon, Dusty. Okay, and then you're going to pull out your phones, and you're going to tweet about watch Dusty Rhodes make her story, okay? All right, you don't have to do that on the film. That's after. Okay, so get better soon, Dusty. Okay, ready, everybody? 1, 2, 3.
Get better soon, Dusty.
Woohoo! Thank you, Gloria. Thank you all. Thank you for stepping in. Go have a nice break. Come. Ready to go.
Okay.